man, I hated Cleveland.
Whoa!
So much. That place definitely ate into my fucking depression along with it, for sure.
Where would you have wanted to go?
Anywhere but Cleveland, I guess.
I feel like
This is crazy. What the fuck?
If you took every bad decision in NFL history, shoved them in a blender, and hit franchise mode, you'd still fall short of the Cleveland Browns. 36 quarterbacks, 12 head coaches, $230 million guaranteed to a quarterback with more lawsuits than playoff wins. This isn't just dysfunction, it's an art form. And somehow, every year, they convince us this time it'll be different. It never is. Now buckle up. This is the wildest failure in sports history. The modern-day Browns weren't always a disaster. Once upon a time, and by that we mean before most of their fans had mortgages, they were a proud franchise. Then came 1995, when Art Modell yanked the team out of Cleveland like a stolen catalytic converter and moved them to Baltimore. In 1999, the NFL brought the Browns back. Unfortunately, they returned as a glorified expansion team with all the prestige of a clearance rack jersey. Since their rebirth, the Browns have posted exactly 3 winning seasons. That's it. 3 out of 25. They've started 36 quarterbacks since 1999, 36. That's not a team. That's a community college waiting list. The only thing that changes faster than Browns QBs is the coaching staff. In fact, they've gone through 12 different head coaches in that same time span. For most teams, a losing season triggers a rebuild. For the Browns, a rebuild is their default setting. It's not the exception, it is the culture. And let's not forget the NFL draft, that yearly tradition where hope goes to die in Cleveland. Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Brandon Weeden, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, each one hailed as the savior, each one ending up as a punchline. If drafting quarterbacks were a science, the Browns would be doing medieval alchemy with a blindfold on. Even in the years they picked high, they somehow whiffed. In 2014, they had 2 first-round picks and came away with Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel. That's like walking into a Ferrari dealership with a blank check and walking out with a pair of rollerblades. It wasn't just about missing. It was about missing in spectacular, headline-grabbing fashion. ESPN could have launched an entire mini-series titled, "What Did the Browns Do Now?" and it would have run for 20 seasons. But the dysfunction runs deeper than just what happens on Sundays. The Browns front office has been a chaotic carousel of short-term hires, internal power struggles, and ownership meddling that would make even Jerry Jones say, "Y'all need to chill." Let's talk about Jimmy Haslam, the owner who bought the team in 2012. His background? Truck stops. His approach to running an NFL franchise? Also truck stops. Haslam has cycled through general managers and coaches like a bored teenager swiping left on Tinder. Each new regime promises discipline, analytics, a new culture, and then flames out faster than a gas station burrito. Exhibit A. In 2014, Haslam hired Mike Pettin and GM Ray Farmer. That duo brought in Johnny Manziel, reportedly without Pettin even being in the loop. 1 year later, Manziel was more interested in Vegas than victory formations. Then came the analytics era with Sashi Brown, who stockpiled draft picks like a doomsday prepper. But before he could spend them, he was canned. Enter John Dorsey, the human version of a bar fight in a flannel shirt. Dorsey drafted Baker Mayfield and built a team around swagger. That lasted all of 2 seasons. It's like watching someone try to build a skyscraper, but every time they get to the second floor, the owner knocks it down and hires new architects. Remember Hugh Jackson? The Browns kept him around long enough to go 1-31. That's not a coaching record. That's a hostage situation. Any other franchise would have pulled the plug after going winless. The Browns gave him a second season. And then there's the Deshaun Watson saga. With over 20 civil lawsuits pending against him, the Browns not only traded for Watson, they gave him $230 million fully guaranteed. That's not just dysfunction. That's financial self-harm. Watson hadn't played football in over a year and came with more baggage than a lost airport terminal. But to the Browns, he looked like salvation, because nothing says new culture like backing the Brinks truck up to a legal minefield. And it's not just the money. The Browns restructured their whole offense, shifted the locker room dynamics, and alienated half the fan base, all in the name of this one move. That's not a calculated risk. That's a panic move disguised as boldness. What makes the Browns' dysfunction so uniquely painful isn't just the losing, it's the cycle of false hope that comes with it. Every few years, a new quarterback arrives, a new coach stands at the podium, a new slogan gets printed on the walls. Trust the process, they say. This time it's different. Spoiler, it never is. Take 2020. Kevin Stefanski in his first season took the Browns to an 11-5 record and a playoff win, over the Steelers no less. It was like watching a solar eclipse, rare, blinding, and over way too fast. Fans thought the curse was finally broken. Turns out, it was just a brief commercial break from the chaos. In 2021, the team regressed. Baker Mayfield fell apart, the locker room fractured, and Cleveland did what Cleveland does best, press the reset button again. Then came Watson. The Browns went all in on a quarterback who hadn't played since 2020 and had legal issues stacked higher than his touchdown totals. To make room, they jettisoned Mayfield, paid Watson a historic contract, and told the football world, "We don't care about the circus as long as the ringleader can throw." And yet, here we are. As of today, Watson's performance has been mediocre at best. The team is still inconsistent. The locker room still feels like a revolving door. And Browns fans, still waiting for next year. It's a masterclass in self-deception. Like a gambler doubling down on a losing hand, hoping that one day the house will finally lose. Let's not forget the media hype either. Every year someone picks the Browns as a sleeper team. Every year someone says, "Look out for Cleveland." It's almost cute, like watching someone try to resuscitate a fish. The Browns' social media team deserves an Oscar for convincing fans that 8-9 is just one step away. Hope is their greatest product, and they sell it every offseason like it's going out of style. The Cleveland Browns are more than a football team. They're a 25-year case study in what happens when impatience meets incompetence. A franchise that keeps trying to reinvent itself without ever fixing the foundation. You can swap the coaches, change the quarterbacks, hire a new GM every leap year. But unless the culture changes from the top down, it's just new paint on a burning house. So are the Browns cursed or just hopelessly committed to the bid? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe, especially if you're tired of watching Cleveland break its own fans. Next up, we take a look at another train wreck hiding in plain sight. Stay tuned. Peace out.